So let's proceed with our day 3 of ISO 27001 masterclass. Okay. So in day 1 and 2, we understood about the lead implementing process. If your organization want to implement 21,000 series standard, what will be the process, what will be the approach, and from today onwards, we are going to understand about the auditing approach. Okay, so if you want to be an certified into 27,001 lead auditor, or your organization want to be an certified, okay, sorry. So for that, what will be an process? So in day 3 agenda, we are going to cover ISO 27001 lead auditor roles and responsibilities. What are the audit fundamental concepts and principles to aim the certificate? What will be the process of an auditing? And we are going to understand the stage 1 audit as well. Okay, so this will be our agenda for the day. So let's begin with this. Now, as a lead auditor, now what uh, organization want particularly from a lead auditor? So an ISO lead auditor is a qualified professional with expertise to evaluate an organization information security management by ISO 27001 requirement. Okay, now there are certain international standards of auditing. Okay, so international standards of auditing particularly giving us a requirement. So we have ISO 19011 and ISO 17021/1. Now these are what 19011 is a guidance standard. It is providing a guidance on managing an audit program. Okay, so how to manage an audit program, how to plan and conduct an management system audit, as well as compliance of an auditor. So it's a most crucial aspect when it provides, it generally provides some basic fundamentals and principles of an auditing. Okay, so ISO 19011 has been saying how to do an audit. Okay, so how to conduct an audit, as well as how to get compliant for the auditors as well. Now, this 17,021, what it has been saying? It has been saying it is giving you a requirement for the certification body who are providing a certification for the organization. So they should be complying again to the standard. Okay, so certification body will going to prove some certain compliances consistency as well. Okay, so they are going to make sure that they are credible enough to give an certification, particularly for all the ISOs. So this is for the certification body and this is for an individual auditor. Okay, now the auditor plays a crucial role in assisting organization in enhancing their information security stance and attending the certificate. If organization want to aim for a certification, who is going to help them? Auditor is going to help them. Okay, so auditor will be following a step-by-step approach. First, he is going to understand about the requirement of an organization, that why they want to go with an ISO 27001. So once he understood the requirement, then he will be checking under to what circumstances and where this particular implementation to be done. Okay, now once the implementation has been done, once the scope has been derived, once that controls have been aligned, after that what we do, we go with an audit. After an implementation, the auditing process start. Okay, so as an auditor, first thing what we are going to see, we are going to see the scope, then we are going to define the terms, then we are going to check the principle, then we are going to conduct an audit, and during conducting an audit, what we are doing, we are evaluating the compliance, we are evaluating the regulatories to find out if there is any loophole is been presented or is been left. Okay, so they are aiming, they are helping organization to enhance their information security stance. Okay, also they are helping organization to claim to go for a certification only after an internal audit, after establishment of your 27 the ISMS. What the organization will be aiming, they will be aiming for your certificate. Okay, so we have standards, audit standards. So as of now, we are learning ISO 27001. This is giving you particularly a requirement standard. Then we have 27007, 27006. Now these are what? These are your guidance standard. Guidance standard, particularly, it's a concept of auditing and information security management. Okay, so ISMS audit has been according to your ISO 27001. Okay, now the qualification of an ISMS in terms of a knowledge, in terms of an compliance, that has been coming under to 27007. Okay, now 27006, again it is providing you an guidance. Okay, so this is very much requirement for the certification body, so they will be fulfilling in addition to 17,021 for only for an accreditation body. So they will be managing the security management system. Okay, they will be checking for the ISMS audit timetable. Okay, the qualification is generally your ISMS auditor will be going, will be having the knowledge for the compliant. Okay, so those are the few terminologies. Now there are few more terminologies as an auditor we should know. Okay, so when I'm doing an audit, there are few keywords which we will be conveying to the auditee or to our audit members. So we have some keywords like audit, interested party, ISMS, this top management, non-conformative. These are very common keyword which has been used into your general terms. Okay, now the question arises over here, what is an audit? Okay, now if I want to give you a simple definition, audit is what? Audit is simply a systematic, independent and documented process. Okay, systematic means it's an step-by-step process. Individually anyone can obtain it or anyone can do it. Down the line, whatever systematic approach you have been taking, it should be documented. Okay, so audit is what? Audit is your systematic, independent, documented process for what? To obtain certain objective. What is the objective? To identify, to get an evidence, to evaluate the objectivity. Okay, in extent to fulfill the criteria. That is what an audit is. Okay, so simply putting simply auditing or simply asking auditee that where we want to in what process you want to have a check. Okay, what practice you have been taking care to against to the compliant for the organization, what policies you had implemented, what procedures you have been following, what process you have been using, as well as your national and international standard requirement. Okay, so this all things will be tested. This all things will be assessed onto the basis of on evidence of the onto the fact. Okay, so it can be an financial audit, it can be an administrative audit, it can be an information security system audit. Okay, you name any of the audit, the process will be the same. The process will be a systematic, independent and it will be a documented process to find the evidence. Okay, so there are different types of an audit as well. So we have first party audit, we have second party audit, we have third party audit. Okay, so this first party audit and second party audit, third party audit is what so generally first party audit is been conducted by the organization, okay, for their own purposes. So we also call it as an internal audit, auditing your own ISMS. Okay, so nowadays organization is having the team. If they don't have a team, what they do, they generally hire some of the auditors, okay, as in freelancer, to check the business relationship, to check whether they are fulfilling the this requirement or not. Okay, then we have is your second party audit. Okay, now second party audit is what? It's an generally you can say it will be conducted, it will be fulfill, it will be checking or evaluating the requirement for the organization, and how it has been done. It has been done by the certification body. Okay, so we also call it as an external audit. Or we, for example, let's suppose I am taking certain services from other organizations. So what I am doing, before taking any services, I am evaluating that organization, the service provider, whether he will fulfilling my requirement. If he is fulfilling my requirement, indirectly I am performing an audit, checking what are my requirement. He is fulfilling the requirement. How is storing the information, whether my information is getting is been safe or secure or not. So indirectly we are performing an audit for them. Okay, so that will be your second party audit. Now there will be a third party audit. Now this third party audit will be done by the certification body to check whether your business is fulfilling the requirement of your ISMS or not. So down the line, they can give you a certification onto it. We also call it as an this stage 2 audit or external audit. Okay, not only that, there are different types of audits as well: opinion audit, pre-assessment audit, certification audit. Now opinion audit is what we are taking certain advices or recommendation. Now when does organization take an advice or recommendation after doing an implementation? Okay, so when I do an implementation, after that I will be asking I will be taking an advice, or I will be asking any external auditor to check whether I had properly implemented all the controls or not. Okay, so that will be my opinion audit. Then we have pre-assessment audit. Now this pre-assessment audit is been done before taking any certification. Okay, so before taking a certification, what we do a gap assessment. So that will be your pre-assessment audit. And third one is your certification audit. Now certification audit has been obtained generally to give a recommendation or to give a certification to the organization. Okay, so I will, if let's suppose my InfosecTrain want to go for a certification, so first I will be doing an implementation of an ISMS. After that, performing a gap assessment, preparing for a stage 1 audit, completing the stage 1 audit, and then going for a stage 2 audit. Now before going to a stage 2 audit, I will be deciding a certification body, from which certification body I want to go for the certification. So once the certification body has been decided, then certification body will be giving a date and time. Okay, so setting up a requirement, this is the date we want to process with an audit, and after that the process will be begin. Okay, so that was the basic overview about an audit, how the audit has been done, what are the different types of an audit. Okay, now one more thing, there are a few involved parties as well. When we talk about an audit, there are audit client, there are auditee, audit team, auditor, technical expert. Okay, the main objective audit is to you can say it's to describe whether they are fulfilling the requirement or not. Okay, so we have an criteria. You might have heard about SOX, PCI DSS, HIPAA, then NIST 19001. These are the criteria, the set of a requirement. Okay, which will be giving you an objectives. Okay, a compared objective. So under to what law, under to what criteria have been sitting, or you have been opted for that audit. Okay, so we go with an a single audit, we go with an combined audit. Okay, so there are certain principles of an audit as well. Now, as we discussed about an lead auditor, okay, what are the roles and responsibilities of an lead auditor? That is the main question now. Okay, what auditor can do? What are the responsibilities of an ISO 27001 lead auditor? First of all, lead auditor, what he is going to do, he is going to again, this is a very critical aspect. Okay, he is going to make sure that organization, okay, ensuring that an organization information security management is been compliant again to your 27001 standard. Okay, now what are the roles and responsibilities? First is your planning and execution of an ISMS, evaluating the efficiency of the control, identifying documenting non-conformative, offering recommendation for enhancement, providing constructive feedback to the organization. Okay, now first thing is what? Understanding the standard, understanding the requirement standard. Requirement standard of what? Requirement standard of your 27,001. Okay, what are the principle of your security management system? So we want to do an audit of an 27,001. So first understand the requirement. Once we have a requirement, then after that we go with an planning of an audit. We plan for an audit, plan for organization ISMS audit based onto the organization context, based onto the risk, based onto their standard. Okay, so what we do, we develop a schedule, we develop a checklist and other necessary document. Once the planning has been done, after that, what we do, we conduct an audit. Okay, we conduct, whether it's an internal audit, whether it's an external audit, conducting an audit for ISMS. Okay, to check whether it's conformative or not conformative with the 27,001 requirement. So it involves evaluating this processes, it involves your controls, it involves your documentation. While we are conducting an audit, what we are doing, we are evaluating the effective controls. Okay, we are reviewing the documents, analyzing the document as per or you can say related to your ISMS standards, related to your policies, risk assessment, security control, to ensure whether all these controls policies are been aligned with your 27,001 requirement. Okay, now if we identified any non-conformatives, so as an auditor, what we are going to do, we are going to report it. There is a non-conformative in the area where the organization ISMS, is not been meeting to the standards. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to provide a recommendation related to it. So here is our suggestion to negotiate or to narrow down this non-conformative. Okay, so there is a loophole into and control, or we can see you haven't applied this control. So here is our suggestion, you can go ahead and add this control. Okay, so the organization can go with an corrective action to identify, to address those identified issues. Okay, so what we are providing, we are providing an constructive feedback to the organization. How it has been provided through an communication. Okay, effectively your conformative and non-conformative has been communicated with the stakeholders, including your management, staff, explaining them what are the audit findings, explaining them your recommendation. Okay, and signify and other signification of your information securities. Okay, down the line, what we have created a report. Okay, preparing and comprehensive audit reports, giving and summarization of all the findings, observation, recommendation. Now this report is again playing in crucial roles to give any information or to take any decision related to your ISMS. Okay, now this is the part of your internal auditor. Now there are few more things. Let's suppose there is a non-conformative. Now after the non-conformative, what auditor is going to do? Okay, now this comes with a condition. If it is a non-conformative, you identified the non-conformative. What you are going to do after that? If you identified any non-conformative, there will be a follow-up. Okay, so there will be a follow-up audit. Okay, in follow-up audit, as an auditor, we are going to monitor and conduct and follow-up audit to verify whether they had implemented or effectively had gone with any corrective action or not. Okay, whether the organization has identified the non-conformity or passed that non-conformity. So that's why there will be a follow-up activity. With that follow-up activity, it is an continuous improvement. Okay, so organization is going with a continuous improvement of the ISMS. Okay, they are providing insights into the area to enhance and sharing their best practices for the information security. Okay, now how they can go with a continuous improvement? By providing and training, by giving an awareness training program. Okay, awareness session on information security principle, on your 27,000 word requirement, giving the importance, sharing the importance details of the compliance or to the relevant stakeholders within that organization. Okay, not only that, performing in risk management, participating in risk assessment, risk management. Okay, so organization is trying to do what? They are trying to identify or address any particular security risk in according to your 27,001. Okay, so your lead auditor plays a vital role in safeguarding an organization information assets. Okay, how? By ensuring that your ISMS is being compliant as per your 27,001, and also it has been effectively addressed as well. Your information security risk has been effectively addressed. Okay, so that is what your roles and responsibilities of your lead auditor. Okay, so what are the fundamental principle and concept of an audit? So we have audit standard. Okay, so not only that, we are going to understand what is an audit, we are going to understand types of an audit. Okay, we are going to understand the involved party, the objective and criteria. We are going to understand about a combined audit. We are going to understand about the principle of an auditing. Okay, what is the competence and particular evaluation of an auditor. Okay, so first let's start with an audit standard. Now audit standard, as we have already discussed, so there are certain guidance standard and there are certain requirement standard. Okay, now guidance standard for an audit program, how to do an audit, how to conduct an audit for a management system. So guidance standard has been giving your 19,011 is giving you a guidance standard on managing an audit program. Okay, now there are certain requirement standard as well, requirement program, this standard particularly for your certification body. Okay, so if there is any certification body providing a certification based on to your ISO 27001, so there are certain requirement standard for them, so they must be compliant with the standard. Okay, so it is giving a proof that they have having an competency as well to provide, to ensure they are credible enough to provide you a certificate. Okay, so this two standard is for, one is for your individual auditor and second one is for your certification body. Now there are a few more audit standard, as I have discussed already. 27,007, 27,006. Now this is again a requirement standard and guidance standard. 27,007 providing you a guidance standard on auditing and information security management system. 27,006 is providing you a guidance and discipline standard. It's again a requirement for the certification body. They must be fulfilling the requirement in addition to your 17,001. Okay, down the line we have particularly this different types of an audit. Okay, as I've discussed, first party audit, second party audit, third party audit. Now first party audit is what it's generally we also call it as an internal audit. Okay, so bestly is known as your internal audit, an internal audit or any independent audit. What will be the objective? To give an organization assurance that your level of security controls has been operated. So we are the recommendation has been given for the improvement manner, and you can with the help of interview you can go ahead and follow with an stage 2 audit. Now there is the second party audit, also known as your external audit. The difference between is that the second party audit has been given is been conducted by a certification body. Okay, or you can say the second party audit has been conducted by the parties, those who have interest into the audit. Okay, then we have is your third party audit. Okay, now third party audit is what there is an organization has been audited by the independent organization to ensure whether the conformity is been sitting into the specified area or not. Okay, so we have different types of an audit in that: pre-assessment audit, opinion audit, certification audit. So you can go with any particular audit. Okay, so we also have certain objective to perform an audit. Objective is what? To fulfill the requirement standard of 27001. So first we are determining the conformity from the management system or any part of the organization by defining the criteria. When we define the ability how to perform an audit, by ensuring whether the client has been meeting to the applicable standards or not. Okay, then we are defining the effectiveness of the management system to ensure the client has been uh, reasonably accepting or achieving all the specific objective. Okay, so this will be certain criteria. Now criteria will be again or depending on to the requirement that you want to aim for which certification. So the certification body will be setting up an criteria, whether it's an PCI DSS, whether it's a 19,000 9,001 27,001. So this certification body will go into decide an criteria under to what criteria we are going to perform an audit. Okay, not only that, we have an combined audit as well. Now combined audit is all together, uh, we can say it's an single audit or two or more audit has been managed. Now there is an key part over here: if there is a single audit or if there is an combined audit. Okay, so we will be going with a team of an audit. Okay, so team will be performing an audit, either it's a combined audit or either it's a single audit. But the person who is managing the team or who is managing the combined audit will be the same. Okay, so team leader will be one, whether it's a combined audit or whether it's a single audit. Okay, combined audit is what? So we are auditing two or more different management system in a single audit. The purpose of a combined audit is what? To evaluate the effectiveness, to evaluate the efficiency of multiple management system in a coordinator manner. Okay, so we are minimizing the disruption of the operation. So with the help of a combined audit, what we are doing, we are conducting an audit to multiple management system, okay, which are compatible and can be audited together. Okay, now during a combined audit, the audit team should be considering the requirement of each management system which need to be audited, as well as their unique requirement. Okay, requirement that is been applicable to that specified combined management system. The audit team will also be considering if there is any potential interaction or overlap between these two management system which need to be audited, that will be considered as well. Okay, so after this consideration, what we are ensuring, we are ensuring that the effectiveness and the efficiency of this particular audit will be giving you a desired requirement, or will be giving you a certain approach to give you for that relevant audit criteria. So overall, this combined audit will be providing more comprehensive or evaluation of your organization management system. Okay, now there are certain principles of an auditing. Okay, so let me note down few of the principles. We have integrity, fair presentation, due professionalism, confidentiality, independence. Okay, now integrity is what? Auditors will be conducting or you can say they will be presenting themselves with very honest, with very uh, fairly presentation and impartiality as well. There will be no impartiality. Okay, so we are not sharing the information with anyone with at any circumstances. So we are maintaining the integrity. Fair presentation. Auditor, what they are going to do? They are going to present their finding accurately based on to the evidence which has been gathered. Okay, so if I am getting any information, so I am going to provide that information in the document as it is. I'm not going to temper any document or temper any evidence. Okay, then is your due professional care. Now due professional care is what? As an auditor, we are going to perform an audit in a professional manner, in a planned manner. Okay, so we have done a planning at first step. If you remember at the first slide, how to conduct an audit, what are the roles and responsibility of an auditor. So when we begin with an audit, first phase is what? It's in planning. Okay, so we are going by the rule, conducting an audit in a planned manner and providing a report of that audit. Okay, then is your confidentiality, or auditor is giving a respect to the confidentiality of that particular organization. So the information which is been collected, those information should not be disclosed with anyone. Okay, or those information only been disclosed with the auditee permission as per the required law. Okay, apart from that, we are not going to share those information with anyone. Okay, then is your independent. Independent means what? As an auditor, I should be free from bias, free from any conflict of an interest as well. It is going to affect the availability, or it is going to affect the audit as well. Okay, down the line, when we are conducting an audit, the audit will be conducted in a evidence-based approach. Okay, so as an auditor, we are going to gather the sufficient and appropriate evidence as well. Why? So that evidence is going to support my findings, support my conclusion. Okay, so this principle will going to help an auditor to ensure that audit has been conducted with the integrity, with the objectivity, with the professionalism. So we are not adhering any principles. So audit has been provided. That audit has been providing any particular valuable insights as well. Okay, not only that, the recommendation is been provided to go with an improvement if there is any loophole into that organization. Okay, so we follow this step-by-step approach. Okay, so these are certain principles of an auditing. Okay, now next one is your competence and evaluation of an auditors. Okay, so there are certain threat as well. Okay, threat to your, you can say, independency. Okay, so threat to an independency, it will be giving you an outline, something that the independence to the certification body will be considering. So there will be certain self-interest, self-review, or you can say or trust, just this factors for the auditors. Okay, so before hiring any particular auditor, so the certification body or that particular that organization is going to make sure that that particular person is been evaluated. Okay, and based on to his competency level, he has been hired to perform those audits. Okay, so the competency of an auditor has been evaluated based on to you can say as I said, onto the requirement, onto their particular this they are looking at to the certification, looking at how many times they have conducted the audit. Okay, so what type of an audit they have conducted, what is the particular hour, for how many hours they have conducted the audit, what is his skills. Okay, what extra things he has been providing or he's been bringing into the table. So once everything has been evaluated, then the auditor has been hired to perform an audit. Okay, Now, there is again certain terms and condition before any auditor has been hired. We go with the auditors reinforcement ethics as well. We check for that as well by conducting any particular background check before providing a contract. Okay, not only that, auditor will also be signing a code of an ethic as well. Not only that, he has gone through any training program recently. Okay, is he aware with the updated ISO 27001 standard or not? Okay, is there any particular I can say legal or any professional this stationery is been necessary, then he can perform an external audit or not. Okay, so all these things has been evaluated before selecting any auditor. Now we are going to understand the audit process. Okay, so the audit process is been initially is been started. So what we are going to go with first, the audit offer, the audit team leader, the audit team, audit feasibility, audit acceptance. Okay, establishing contact with an auditee, and then the audit schedule. Okay, so as of now, we haven't started the audit, or we haven't initiated the audit. This is the first phase before starting with any audit. Okay, so what is the first thing we have? First thing is the audit offer. Now in audit offering, what will be there? Let's suppose I am conducting an external audit. Okay, now this external audit is been done by the certification body. Okay, now the organization want to have a certification, that's why they approach towards a certification body. Now certification body, what they have done, they have been setting up a team of an audit. Okay, now before setting up a team of an audit, they want someone to be managing that audit. Okay, so audit manager will be hired first. Now before hiring the audit manager, a mail will be sent to the appropriate person. Okay, what the organization thinks that they can perform an audit. Okay, the audit will be offered. So let's suppose they are offering me an audit. So in that mail, they will be giving me an information that you want to perform an audit. This is the requirement. This is the organization. This is the organization requirement. Then this is the strength of that organization. It's been sitting between your, let's say, 20 to 50 people. Okay, the days will be required somewhat around you can say 15 days. Okay, the appointment letter has been sent. Okay, now prior to accepting the audit mandate, the auditor will going to receive an offer from the certification body. Now this process of offering an mandate is helping us to avoid any misunderstanding as well. Or is there any particular question has been arising? For example, I had done the implementation for the organization, same organization, and similarly I was been asked to do an external audit. Now this time there will be certain breach of a contract. Why? Because I had done the implementation, I know the in and out of the organization, so I cannot perform an audit for the same organization. Okay, so that's why when the appointment letter is been sent, acceptance this particular can say the letter has been received to the auditor from the certification body. In that the complete information has been given, information of the organization. Okay, apart from that, in the offering there will be audit objective, scope, criteria, duration of an audit. Okay, if the team has been you can say if the team has been selected, then the information of the team members, roles and responsibility of each and every team member, then the limitations of the audit engagement related to the payments as well, the commercials, each and everything will be there into that audit offering. Okay, so let's suppose I had let's say approved at a particular audit offering. I want to perform an audit. After that, there will be appointment of a team leader. Okay. Now for each audit, certification body is going to appoint one team leader who will be responsible for conducting that audit until it has been completed. Okay. Not only that, there are certain main roles and responsibility of that team leader. First thing is what? Planning of an audit. Second thing is what? Identifying and addressing if there is any this particular audit risk. Okay. So not only that, he will be managing the communications as well. Communication between the auditor and the auditee. He is going to manage his whole team. He is going to assign the roles and responsibility as well to all the teams. Okay. By any chance, let's suppose my auditors has been fighting with each other, or there is certain dispute between my auditor. So as a team leader, I am going to solve the conflicts. Okay. Now whatever information my auditors has been collected, at the end of the day, the conclusion is been given by your team leader based on to the report, based on to the information what they have collected. Okay. So the report will be drafted by the team leader. Okay. The final report will be created by him. Okay. So as I said, there are 15 members into the same audit team. There are 20 members into the same audit team, but the team leader will be one. If it is a joint audit or if it is a combined audit, same in this case situation as well, the team leader will be one. How the team leader has been selected, on what basis the team leader has been selected. Okay. So basis on its skills, basis on its knowledge for information security risk management, knowledge of an audit standard, knowledge of audit procedures, on techniques, if he can understand the main business, the process, what are his communication skills, so everything will be evaluated. Okay. So the same thing goes for your team members as well. When there is a selection of an audit team, first they are going to check for the teamwork skills. Okay, the certification body is going to check the teamwork skills of that auditor. Okay. Not only that, they will be checking whether that particular auditor is having the basic knowledge of information security and risk management or not. If he is having the basic knowledge, after that they will be checking whether that person is knowing about an audit standard, about an audit process, about the audit techniques or not. He can understand the business process. Okay. Once everything has been checked, that checklist, from that checklist, then the auditor will be selected. Okay. Now there is again a one more condition. Okay. Now the certification body want to have at least one person from that team who is having a knowledge about the industry to whom they are performing an audit. Okay. So let's suppose InfosecTrain want to go for a certification. Now when the team is been hired, the InfosecTrain is particularly focusing on to an cybersecurity. So at least one member from that audit team should be aware about the cybersecurity roles and responsibility working of in cybersecurity. Okay. Not only that, that person should also be having the knowledge about the audit language as well. So because we don't know where that particular organization has been established, in which country, in which state, in which city, the language has been spoken about there is different. So at least that person should know how to communicate, should understand what that particular auditee want to share. So these things have been checked. Not only that, at least that person should also know the legal and other regulated requirement as well related to that auditee. Now, if everything has been setting, if everything has been cross verified, then we can build our own audit team. Okay. So this is how the audit team has been selected. Let's suppose certification body has given the list of an fire auditors. Okay. Now this list will be provided to the InfosecTrain as well. Now InfosecTrain can reject auditors as well. Okay. In what condition? If there is any conflict of an interest in any of the auditor, so they can make an offer over here that this particular person is been you can say has performed an internal audit for my organization. So there is a conflict of an interest. So change this auditor, or else this person is been coming from our competitor. Okay, so he is an employee of our competitor, of that organization competitor. So during that time also they can propose an offer, change this auditor. Okay, or else this auditor has previously conducted an audit for my organization, but the professionalism is not very good. Okay, so in that situation also they can make a request to change the auditor. Okay, so rejection of an auditor from the audit client or the auditee, yes, that will be provided from the certification body. They will be addressing those things as well if it has been requested. Okay, now we have a team of an auditor. After that is your audit feasibility. Now audit feasibility is what that audit should be determined in that or it should be provided for a reasonable confidence as well in order to achieve certain objective. Okay, now this determining the feasibility should be considered under certain factors, under the factors of the availability of your stakeholders, availability of the auditor. Okay, whether they have been having a sufficient and appropriate information for the planning or not. Okay, or adequate cooperation is been required from the auditee, time is been required from an auditee, resources has been required from an auditee in order to conduct an audit. Okay, so as an auditor we are going to determine, or we are going to check the feasibility which has been provided by the auditee. Okay, first of all we require an information. On the basis of that information we can plan for the audit, isn't it? Until unless we don't have an information, how we can plan for an audit? Information about the organization. Okay, and post to that we can give the duration. Once the audit has been planned we can provide them a duration. Okay, so duration based on to the strength of an organization, based on to the process in which all process it need to be audited. Okay, so once we have the complete information, then only we can decide the audit will last for 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, how many days, XYZ. Okay, so based on to the feasibility of the auditee, we are going to ask for any information. Okay, once we have an information, then we are going to give an expected duration of an audit. Okay, post to that we are going to make sure that this audit will be completed by anyhow. It will be completed onto the XYZ given date. Okay, now let me give you uh, some information about that how much the audit will going to last. Okay, it's in general information. Again, it's not mandatory thing. Let's suppose there are employees in between 10 to 15 in an organization where we want to perform an audit. So the audit will be is going to last for 6 days as per the list given by your ISO 27001 lead auditor. Okay, now again it's not a mandatory thing that we will be only going with a 60 audit. Now it's totally depending onto the requirement, depending onto the process, how much the process need to be audited, what are the requirement of the organization. Based on to that, these are the general numbers which has been given. Okay, audit duration has been given. If there is an employee in between sitting in between 46 to 65, the number of days will be required over here is 10 to conduct an audit. Okay, if the organization strength is between, let's suppose, 280 to 400. Okay, the duration will be increased now, 15. Okay, let's suppose organization strength is between 2000, let's say 2000 to 2500. Okay, now the duration will be around 22 days. Now these are certain general time availability given by your 27001 standard. Okay, now in this time duration, what we are going to define, we are going to define the scope of your management system. We are going to understand the process of the management system. Okay, we are going to check what activity to be performed by the auditee. Okay, how many sites we are going to visit and perform an audit. Okay, is there any previous audits has been done? Give us the reports of it. If there is any agreement related to outsourcing services, give us the information. If there are any regulatory laws and contractual agreement, give us all the information. So on to the first day, there will be a study and preparation of an audit. Okay, so almost half day will be required for that. Then second day, we are going to review all the documents of the audit. Third day, we are going to begin with an audit. So let's suppose 5 days are required for to audit the whole organization. Okay, and on to the last day, we will be preparing for an final report. We got the audit feasibility, audit acceptance. Okay, or also we derive an audit objective. Now audit objective is what? To confirm whether the organization has been meeting up to the requirement standard. Okay, the ISMS has been effectively meeting to their intended result. Okay, not only that, organization has been reaching to an information security objective onto the base of their own criteria. So this will be the audit objective. Okay, once there is an objective, after that we are going to set up an audit scope. Now audit scope will be your ISMS scope. Okay, it's been describing the range, the limits of the audit. Okay, where it has been audited, organization location, organization unit, activities, process, procedures need to be audited, methods to be audited, tools, technology which they have been using. Okay, as well as the duration of an audit. This all things will be coming under to your scope. Okay, once the scope is been identified, then documentation will be, the scope will be given to the auditee and to the certification body. If there is any change, okay, if there is any change into an scope, now again that change need to be updated and it need to be presented into the form of a documentation. Okay, now that change of a scope will be shared with the auditee, with the certification body for an approval. After the approval, we are going to follow the new scope if there is a change into a scope. Okay, so any changes in the scope must be compared, must be written. Okay, then it is been agreed between the certification body and between the auditor and auditee as well. Okay, this change need to be documented because it's a mandatory thing. If there is any change onto your scope, now scope, a simple definition will be your index. So whenever we open a book, so first page, what do we have? We have an index. That's what we are going to learn in this book. That is what your scope is. Okay, if we add one more chapter in that book, then we have to change the index as well. We have to add that chapter in the index as well, isn't it? Okay, so if we are changing in one book, that means in all the copies we have to make a change. So same thing, if there is change into an scope, that change, that agreement or that change will be provided to the certification body, to the auditor and to the auditee. Okay, and that need to be documented as well. It need to be stored that we have changed the scope. Down the line, if there is another audit during that time, he can understand that you have performed an audit from the new scope, not from the old scope. Okay, Now, after the scope, we defined a criteria. Okay. Now, in management system audit, the audit criteria are the requirement against to the standard, against which need to be audited. Let's suppose that the auditee want to obtain foreign certification, so that will be coming under to the criteria. Criteria is your 27001. Criteria is your PCI DSS. Criteria is your HIPAA. Okay, so this criteria is going to derive the internal rules, policies, laws and regulation. Okay, your interested party requirement, other standards, or any particular uh, commercial contractual agreements as well. Okay, so once the criteria has been sent, then the agreement will be signed. Okay, agreement between the, I can say, both the teams who is going to perform an audit and who wants to go for an audit. Okay, the auditor and the organization. Okay, now in this certification of an agreement, there will be scope, objective, criteria, responsibility of an auditor, yeah, unrestricted access area. All this information will be given, and then the agreement will be shared between both the parties. And then after the signing that agreement, after the signing the NDA, the audit will begin. Okay, so establishing the contract with the auditee. Okay, so the contract has been established, and after that audit schedule has been provided. Once we have the audit schedule, then the audit will be beginning. Okay, so what we have done, we have gone with the process of initializing of an audit. Okay, now we are going to understand how the internal audit, or we can say how the stage 1 audit is been done. Now, stage 1 audit is what? During the stage 1 audit, what he does, auditor does not verify the effectiveness of a management system, whether it has been placed or not. Auditor will check the effectiveness of the management system into a stage 2 audit, not into a stage 1 audit. He only validates whether the document process has been existing or not. All this document process is been effectively implemented or not as per to your standard requirement. Okay, so whatever thing has been documented, let's suppose the implementer has documented 50 controls. So as an auditor, we are going to check whether all these 50 controls are been implemented or not. Okay, so we are not verifying the effectiveness of the management system in this place. We are only verifying what all documented process has been set, whether those documented process are been effectively implemented or not, or are been complying with to the standard requirement or not. Okay, so as an auditor, as an internal auditor or a stage 1 audit, we review the client management system, documented security tools. Okay, we evaluate the client site specific conditions as well. We review the client status and understand the requirement as well. Okay, we obtain necessary information regarding to the scope and to the management system as well. Okay, now this will be my objectives. Okay, so first I'm going to review the client management system and the documents. Okay, and assume this is your internal audit. So as an internal audit, what we are going to do, we are going to review the documented management system. So if there's an implementation of your ISMS has been done, so we are going to review all the ISMS cycles, all the implementation. Okay, we are going to evaluate the specific conditions as well. Okay, so discussing with the client, determining their preparations, how they have prepared uh, for this evaluation of your ISMS, how they had gone with the condition to implement ISMS. Okay, so we are going to review the status and understand the requirement standard as well. Okay, so in order to, so we can identify the key process. Okay, so we can identify the objective as well. We can understand how they have been operating the management system as well. Okay, so this has been done generally done into an stage 1 audit. So generally the stage 1 audit will be an on-site audit. Okay, we also call it as an on-site activity. So in on-site activity, we evaluate the location, okay, the condition where we are going to perform an audit, what is the location. So once we visit to the location, we go with an observation. Okay, so auditor will be very much familiar to the location. Once he is been into that location, he will be very much familiar with the location. Okay, in order he can better assess the risk related to the specific condition. Okay, so he can obtain certain information, security rules as well. He can use certain personal this protective equipment as well if it is been applicable. So let's suppose if I'm visiting to your organization to perform an internal audit, so I will be bringing my own laptop. Now I want to connect my laptop with your internal network. So first of all, what I will be asking, I will be asking for an access. Okay, now if I'm coming inside your organization, so again I need an access card. Okay, a temporary ID will be provided. Now everything will be documented. How it is been documented? Your the security guard is going to document the things. Okay, I am going to provide my name, followed by the time when I'm visiting it. Okay, followed by why I'm visiting it and to whom I am visiting. So again, this information has been documented as an evidence that some person has been came to this organization to perform an audit on this date on this time. Okay, after that a temporary access card has been given. I'm going to tap the temporary access card into the access point and I'm going to come inside that premises. Now after that I'm going to ask for an access for that particular network. Okay, so like this, what we are doing, we are getting familiar with the organization and we are asking for certain you can say certain proactive approach or some protective equipments, or certain, you can say, the network equipments, the tools and technologies as well to conduct an audit. Okay, so after this we are going to connect with certain persons or some people, isn't it? Because if we don't connect with the people, how we are going to understand about this organization? So there will be an you can say the person presented is going to represent from that organization body. Okay, so he is going to make sure whatever the requirements are, those requirements have been fulfilled. So whenever I ask for certain documents, so he is going to make sure that all documents will be presented, or all documents will be provided to me. Okay, now this is the case of an external audit. Okay, of an external auditor. Now what if your organization is having a team internally? In that condition, the situation may vary. Okay, the situation will going to vary over here. So we are already an employee. I am already an employee for this organization. So straight away, I'm going to review the documents. Okay, documents of an ISMS implementation. I am going to evaluate where and how this ISMS has been implemented in that organization. So they are protecting the information security for the asset, and how they have been protecting. I am going to review the state and understand about the requirement standard of an ISMS as well. Why they have been aiming for an ISMS requirement? A general observation. Okay, so we are going to check for the test plan, audit plan. That is going to help us in the preparation as well, preparation for a stage 2 audit. Okay, as an internal auditor, we are going to obtain necessary information regarding to the scope, regarding to the management system. Okay, what is the scope, under to what key parties this thing need to be audited? So during an stage 1 audit, the audit team is going to conduct an interview as well to the key interested parties. Implementation has been done by whom? By the implementer. Okay, So what we are going to do in this situation, we are going to ask some question to that implementer. So how you had implemented this 50 controls? Why do you think these 50 controls are very much essential for this organization? Onto the what basis you have done the implementation? Okay. So during an interview, we can ask certain questions with that particular person who is been behind to the implementation. Okay, so that will be my first key interested party. Okay, so what we are trying to do, we are trying to collect an evidence so we can validate whether this management system has been compliant or not, has been meeting to the requirement or not. Okay, so if there is any challenges has been coming or has been faced by an auditee, so it may be because of a legal requirement, because of a regulatory, because of a contractual requirement. Okay, and if there is any challenges, how they are managing and responding to those challenges. Okay, so this will be done or this will be verified by your internal auditor. Okay, now first thing has been done, review has been done. After that, this review of an client management has been done, review of the documentation. Now review of a documentation is what, it's in general understanding, or you can say it's in function for the management system. So we are going to understand about each process, and after we get an information about that process, we are going to audit those process. Okay, so we are going to evaluate the management system design as well as related process as well as their controls. Okay, so a verification will be done by the internal auditor, and it will be reviewed uh, that how this management system has been operated. Okay, so verification has been done over here. So what all information they have been collected, so let's suppose they had implemented a control, and that control is your clean desk policy. Now this has been documented. After documenting this control, okay, it has been implemented. After implementation, organization, what they are going to do, they are going to go with an awareness training program. Okay, now this awareness training program also need to be documented. When the training program is being conducted, to what no, which all employees have conducted or have attended this training program. Okay, not only that, when any person has been hired, any employee has been hired, first HR, what they are going to do, they are going to share the documentation related to the policies. Not only that, the induction will be done. In that induction, HR is going to share the information that we have a clean desk policy. That means you are not going to save any crucial information on your desktop. Along with that, if someone has been passing by, you are not going to enter the password as well. Okay. If you are not sitting into your place, make sure you are you are logging off from the device. Okay. Don't uh, keep the device unlocked when you are not at to your place. It may can lead to certain you can say tempered of your data or deletion of your data or any malicious activity of to your data. Okay, so that's why this policy has been created, and not only that, this policy is been documented as well, and it's been informed as well. So if the organization is following all this process, all this step-by-step approach, that means they have been compliant, they are fulfilling the requirement for that control. Okay, now how we verified this thing, we verified through one documentation first, which policies has been implemented, where it has been implemented, when it has been implemented, how it has been implemented, asking all the 5 questions, and also verifying it from a documentation. Once the verification has been done, once the review of the documentation has been done, okay, so after review we go with an verification. Now verification, how it has been verified? By doing an interview of the employees. We are going to ask the employees, have you attended the training program? In that training program, the trainer or that particular HR person has shared you the information related to a clean desk policy. If yes, can you give? If yes, can you give me some information? If no, we are going to document those things. Okay. So what we are doing? We are doing a verification, confirming whether this control is fulfilling the requirement established or not. Okay. So whether the control is complete, correct, consistent, and it's been current as well. Okay. Completed means expect this or it has been all it has been accepted. Okay. Containing the information in documentation. The second is your correct. Correct is what? The content is confirmed. Okay. And there are other reliable sources are also present, like your standards, like your this regulations. Consistency. Okay. Consistency is what? The documented information has been consistent itself. Okay. There are information related to this document as well, and it's been updated too. Once we go with the verification, once we cross check with all these things, then that means we have verified where this control has been 100% meeting up to the requirement. Then we go with the validation. Okay. Validation of that document. What is there inside the document? We look for the content. In what format the document is, we go with a format. Then we go with the process. Who is managing this document? Who is managing this control? This control is coming under to an admin team. Okay. So we are going to check whether the admin team is taking the full responsibilities of this control as well. Now, when we are going with an first process by reviewing or uh, this verifying any document, so there are total 4 levels: level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4 in verifying the documents. Okay. Now these documents can be audited in this manner, from a level 1 manner, level 2, level 3, level 4. We can derive this into a 4 format. So level 1 will be your documented related uh, to your governance framework, like your policies, ISMS scope, information security objective, documented information security objective documentation. So that will be coming under to your level 1. Then we have is your level 2. Level 2 will be describing your process, your controls. Okay. Like you can ask the 5 questions: who, why, what, where, when, how. When this particular document has been documented, who has documented this thing, what has been documented, when it has been documented. So that will be a description of the controls. Okay. Level 3 will be containing your procedures. Okay. Which is going to describe in detail how the task has been performed. Then we have is your level 4 document. Now this level 4 documents will be your records. Okay. Which will be your evidence. For example, risk assessment has been done. So for that, what we have a report. So that report will be on record. Okay. So that will be my level 4 document. Level 4 document will always be on record. Level 3 will be your procedures. Level 4, level 2 will be the giving you the description of your process. And level 1 will be containing the giving you the description of the governance framework. So this is how the documents are been listed. Okay. And as an auditor, what we do, we examine this document. Okay. So we verify this document, we cross check all this document. Okay. So basic document has been audited. There are more. Then after that, we go with a verification process of the documentation. Now verification again is an very much informative related to your internal audit. Okay, during your stage 1 audit. Now once the verification has been done, we provide an report out of those verification. Okay. So this is the process of an stage 1 audit. Now the stage 1 audit can be done into three steps, okay, or three views we call it as. So one is your prepare for on-site activity, conduct an on-site activity and review the documented information. Now prepare for on-site activity. That means prepare for the internal audit. Okay, so what is my main objective? My main objective is to do one stage 1 audit. Now how this stage 1 audit will be done? By reviewing the audited by reviewing that organization management system, okay, by checking the access of the specific site and specific condition, by reviewing the standard requirement, by collecting more and more information related to those particular requirement. Okay, so we are reviewing and collecting the evidence to obtain the information related to those particular implemented controls. Okay, so these are the stages. Okay, stage one, step one, we go with a preparation stage. Okay, so during stage 1 audit, ideally this take place between 2 to 4 weeks before any stage 2 audit. Now this stage 1 audit should again there is a reason behind to it. The stage 1 audit should not be conducted too far from the stage 2 audit. Okay, why? Because there might be any chances or there might be any you can say possibilities that there will be a change between during the process. For example, as of now, I am using certain tools. Okay, now let's say after 5 days, these tools have been updated. Okay, the patch has been released. Now this thing need to be updated as well. So I have already conducted a stage 1 audit. In the stage 1 audit, the information has been given that the assessment has been done that the version of this tool is not been vulnerable. It's been completely fit and fine. But when we go with a stage 2 audit, the version number has been changed. Okay, the multiple things are getting changed over here. For example, the organization is adopting new technologies. Okay, audit has been done 6 months before. Now after 2 months, after 3 months, some new technologies have been adopted by the organization. Now this thing need to be audited. This need to be documented as well. Now no information related to that. When there is an external audit, they will be asking a question that how you started using this particular technology, where are the records, uh, how many resources are behind to this particular technology. Now again, how you had install all this application, provide us a license. Now that need to be documented as well. There will be an asset inventory. Now those asset inventory should be cross verified. There will be a control to be established behind to that particular application, because we cannot give full access to each and every employee. A limited privilege need to be provided. Now again, that need to be addressed. So we are adding a control. Okay, again, the scope has been changed. That's the reason it has been said, whenever we want to go with a stage 2 audit or external audit, make sure before 2 to 4 weeks, in between 2 to 4 weeks, perform your internal audit. Okay. So usually 30% of the time has been spent in your stage 1 audit. So at least in stage 1 audit, we can simply review all the documented information and perform the audit site. This make sure that the organization is ready for your this certification. Now when we go with an prepare for on-site activity, generally audit team, what they are going to do, so audit team is going to carry out certain general review for that particular documentation related to information security policies, operation process, okay, list of inventory, records, whether the training session details, previous audit report, multiple things. Okay, so it's a general review. Okay, general review to evaluate whether this document information is updated or not, is been signed by the correct person or not, or containing complete information or not, which is going to help the auditor to maintain the systematic structure approach as well. Okay, with regards to your documented information which has been presented, which has been needed during an audit. So that's what we do in your on-site activity. Now, when we are conducting an on-site activity, what four things we are doing? We are evaluating the location first. We are evaluating the site specification, the site condition, where need to be audited. Okay, and make sure, and as auditor, we are going to make sure that we connect with those interested parties. Okay, interested parties will be the implementer who has done the implementation of an ISMS, your top management. Okay, along with that, the person who is behind to that control. Okay, so all the process owners, HR manager, SOC manager, the accounts manager, they knows better about their controls, the roles and responsibilities. So we can ask the question and we can ask the documents as well related to their processes. Okay, so what we are doing, we are contacting those persons. Okay, we are observing the technology which has been used. We are observing the operations as well, where the ISMS has been implemented. Okay, so this thing has been, once this thing has been done, after that we will be connecting with those people who are responsible to those processes. Okay, so once this has been reviewed, once the documents have been reviewed, so reviewing your documents as well, so relevant management system documents. Okay, so from those documents we can gather the information, we can understand the organization of operations as well. Okay, as well as we can prepare for the audit activities as well. Okay, so once we understood about the process functions which has been stored in the documentation, now after that we are going to create a report out of it. Okay, so so there will be a set of criteria. Everything has been coming from that criteria, ensuring all these things has been reviewed, and once the review has been done, based onto that evidence, the report will be created. Okay, now there is one more thing, the evidence should be accurate, it should be sufficient as well. Okay, and it should be complete as well. Okay, so once this criteria has been meeting, that means the evidence has been fulfilled. Based onto that evidence, you are going to give a judgment, and that will be reported. Okay, and this report will be shared with your top management. Okay, and they are going to make a decision out of it. That audit has been completed, we had identified this problem. Okay, you can fix the problem, the suggestion has been provided, that will be shared with your top management, and your internal audit has been completed. Now you can, there is no major non-conformity, you can plan for a certification. Okay, so after this, the preparation of a stage 2 audit will begin, that we are going to discuss in depth. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about a stage 2 audit. Okay, we will be focusing more over to an external audit. Okay, so similarly, how we are discussed today about the process, about the fundamental concept of an internal audit. Okay, how that audit will be processed, how that audit will be conducted, who will be conducting this audit, what are the roles and responsibility of an auditor. Similarly, we are going to understand the principles, fundamental concepts of your external audit, the process of an external audit, the implementation of an external audit of your stage 2 audit, and after that, the preparation, the conducting, this confirming for the non-conformative, which has been given by, say, given by an external audit. So after that, there will be a follow-up process. There will be an, I can say, uh, review of that particular follow-up process, and after that there will be a certification. So the complete process of a stage 2 audit will be discussed onto our next day.